Lagos Island, precisely Kajola House, at the office of our president. Thank you very much. As we are about to close, I want to call on my president, Esther Sovereign Valor Glaston Okpara, for the closing remark. Let's appreciate him, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We must apologize because we're just given a limited time. This is not our style. I'm sure everybody who has been attending FIAPC cocktails in nice events, you know, you can see the change. We always like doing our things in cozy environments and the cozy way, but we restricted to this situation, so we apologize. We believe that when next we meet, you are going to enjoy more of us. But what I want to let you know before we close is we're not just coming here to even only talk about what we have benefited. How do we even operate? What is it that FIAPC has also done for not only its members, for even our country and the real estate practice in Nigeria? What have we even done? Because of the way we operate, our major target is always to build up and tap the potentials, build up membership, tap the potentials that are hidden in our practices. There are many of them that we do not know, and it's only when you share ideas that you understand them. For instance, I'll tell you the programs we have had, the collaboration programs we have had. Like I said it earlier, no single person can claim to be the last bastion of knowledge in anything. We have collaboration events with organizations, different professional organizations, like the last one we had with in March with the Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce. For the first time, I came to understand that data gathering, which we said before, we thought that statistics of happenings in real estate industry are not known. That's why even as we carry out valuations, 200 valuers can get different values, very wide ranges on the property. But I found out that this time, even people who are not non-estate surveyors, people who are not even very deep in the real estate industry, they are the people who are now gathering information, data on what is happening in the real estate industry. And I must tell us that we must wake up, because if we do not wake up, other professionals are going to take over what is ours. But these things were exposed to us in the last collaboration event we had with the Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce sometime in March. We organize other programs, webinars for our members from different parts of the world. For instance, I am in even the invitations we receive for the different programs. I'm being invited by the FIAPC Taiwan. Sometime last year I had the invitation in November, because we are going for the World Congress a few days after. One of our members had to go and represent us there, and the knowledge we tap, we always come to share. We are going for a trade mission in Indonesia, Jakarta, Indonesia, in September. Our members have been invited. That one is going to be a very free, we're going to have free access to the visas and all that, as always, as usual. Because I joined FIAPC in 2004, and FIAPC has provided me that opportunity of traveling to about 35 countries of the world. And I must tell you, since I started traveling, that's the first country I went to outside Nigeria here was the United States. Since that time up to now, no embassy has denied me or even any member of my family visa. Because ordinarily, by the time you go there, they hear that you are attending a FIAPC program. They ask you the questions and they answer it themselves. That is one rare opportunity that has been provided me as a FIAPC member. I remember some years back when Eco Atlantic was just coming up. Everybody was afraid. How is this place like this? And people were thinking this is going to be one hell of a wasted project. So sometime in 2012, we approached the Chaguris and then told them that we want to just come and project the Eco Atlantic to the world. So they came up with the model. They sponsored they just like we have taken up a stand here today. They took up a stand and then sponsored the trip. We went to Luxembourg. That was where we had the World Congress. And by the time the Chaguris came and presented the Eco Atlantic, the whole arena that day was really in excitement. And there's the question that the white men beside us were asking, you mean you have a project like this in Africa? People do not know what is happening. Today, the American embassy had gone to pick up space in the Eco-Atlantic. Everything started after we went to showcase the Eco-Atlantic at Luxembourg in 2012. So this is what we have been doing. Last year, we took the Ilorin estate, the project under development. They attended the FIAPSI Congress in France. They went there, and even though they are having internal problems, that which has not allowed them to kickstart. But I know that as we went for a tour, they said even FIAPSI members all over the world have been calling them, making inquiries. So this is one way we have tried to also showcase real estate, the level of real estate and the potential that we have in Nigeria here. I cannot reel out all that I've been enjoying in FIAPSI. Let me tell you one thing. Sometime, that was when I joined newly, about three years ago after I joined. I received a call from a woman in Brazil, and then she said, oh, she mentioned my name. So, okay, I received your number from a FIAPSI member in Brazil. My husband is coming to Nigeria to pick up appointment. I want you to please help me get an accommodation for him. I cannot do this. I don't know about your country, but it's only through a FIAPSI member. And when the man came here, I got him an accommodation in these Bunu Sherif Towers in Ikoyi. That was how the relationship started. It's only when you come that you understand what we're talking about. The benefits are so much. The international level it places you are just enormous. So come and tap into this opportunity. Like I told you when I was introduced to FIAPSI like this, I was just a potential member. But today I've risen to be president of FIAPSI Nigeria. I thank God for all these opportunities. Come and we will welcome you. Thank you very much.
Okay, my first vice president, sir. On behalf of FIAPSI, we please want to request that we want to have a group picture with you, and okay, please, I've just been informed that there's another class going on at the canopy outside this hall. For those that want to attend that class, unfortunately I don't have the details of the class. Class on housing. Please, if you want to attend that, you can please step out. So please, my vice president, sir, we please want to request that you come forward. My past presidents too, board of trustees, and all the elders, fellows in the house, please request that you come forward for a group picture. Thank you very much, sir. So that we can close. For those that have questions, please, you can write them down. On my way out of the hall, I can pick your questions and we will reply. Thank you. Thank you, sir. After this, please, FIAPSI members, you can also join us. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Can we give the FIA, BECI, FIAPC people a round of applause? FIAPC in Nigeria's real estate. Can we give them a round of applause, please? Ladies and gentlemen, are you now taking questions? Mr. Ayo, questions? Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to continue now. We were to take stimulating the Nigerian economy through valuation for fixed asset management firm by estate surveyor and valuer Dosu Fatokun yesterday, but he wasn't around. But today he is around, and I'd like to call him forward now so that he would come for his presentation. Estate surveyor and valuer Dosu Fatokun, PPNIVS, is taking stimulating the Nigerian economy through valuation for fixed assets management, FAM. Can we give him a round of applause? Where is he, please? Say he's around. ESV Fatokun, please. Our past president, where are you? Please, is ESV Fatokun around? Please, is he around? If not, let's take Dr. Olumide Aino. We want to take ESV Okonkwo Nadozie, and of course Dr. Olumide Aino, MFM, current, and the title is Reinventing the Workplace, the Role of the Facilities Management. Are you the one, sir? What's the name, sir? Okay. Can we please put our hands together for him? ESV Okonkwo. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Have you given them your stuff? Okay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually my pleasure to be around to share some insights with us. Our topic, first of all, I am the chairman of Facility Management and Infrastructure Unit of the profession. And when I was asked to bring a team for this discussion, I looked at something that has been bothering me as a practitioner and as an estate surveyor over time, which is the area of facility management, and how our surveyors, estate surveyors, are not exploiting the huge opportunities in that part of the profession. It may interest us to know that there is so much happening in the profession as we speak. And if there's one profession that technology has affected, it is FM. The surveyors are not really doing what they should do in the profession. So our team is, we teamed it as reinventing the workplace, the role of the facilities manager. I prepared a topic for this discussion, but I decided to, because we are talking to ourselves, I decided to invite my friend, and someone I could call my boy because he cut his teeth through me and as a facility manager. He has since moved on. His name is Dr. Olumide Aino. He's an engineer by profession, but he has his master's in facilities management and doctorate. Right now he's an assistant lecturer in University of Lagos. So I actually brought him in to come and discuss the role of technology, because that is one area that these estate surveyors are lacking behind. Even though they say FM is all commerce profession, but because of our knowledge of economics and real estate, we stand a better chance. But technology has been an issue, and we have been struggling with it. So he's going to lead us into some of the insights, and then the new developments in FM. When he finishes, I can come and summarize, because I have a few critical questions that I need to ask us as surveyors and what we need to do going forward. Dr. Olumide, I don't know if you are ready. Please, can you put your hands for Dr. Olumide?
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be invited to do this presentation. My name is Olumide Aino, and I'll be taking us through the realities and some new happenings in facilities management. Facilities management, as we know, it's about creating a good environment, influencing the way people live, work, and play, influencing their environment. Facilities management has moved away from managing the brick mortar, servicing generators, cleaning, fumigation, pest control, and a whole lot of those things. It has gone to a level whereby the built environment itself influences the productivity, the comfort of the building users. So without having that basic understanding as a major concept in managing the built environment, then you are not doing facilities management. You are doing something totally different. So I'd like to take us through this short presentation, and I hope that it will influence us and give us a different understanding about what FM is and how technology can be integrated into our businesses and way of life. Strikingly, I was at the back when I heard someone, I don't know his name, he spoke about artificial intelligence. That artificial intelligence cannot, affect the real estate business or valuation business, except for those that are not prepared. AI has come to stay, a lot of technologies has come to stay. So as practitioners, as professionals, we have to position ourselves to take advantage of this knowledge so that we can have competitive advantage over others in discharging our business. We'll be looking at reinventing the workplace through facilities management by facility managers. FM is now a buzzword. Everybody is doing facilities management. Everybody, even those doing cleaning services, they'll tell you they are doing facilities management because they do not understand the basic concept that FM even affects your productivity, the productivity of your staff, productivity of your human capacity in your organization. Before now, 9 to 5 was the norm, pre-COVID-19 era. You must come to the place of work, you must clock in. Most employers, if you don't clock in, they deduct from your salary, and it was stressful because why should I come to the office when I can add value in my home, when I can do a lot of things remotely? And those things are changing because there are a lot of technologies that can enable us to even add value outside the four corners of our office space. It is not about your team, your staff being available physically. It's about the true value they can ingest into your business. So FM focus mainly about people's experience, people's comfort. You come to a place like this, the next thing you want to consider is security in case there's any incidents. How do I escape? How do I go to the muster point? how will I ensure that the vehicle I brought is safe, I'm safe, I go back to Lagos or my destination safely. The convenience, the toilet, the restroom, how comfortable it is, how neat, how clean it is. So the people managing this place, that will be something that will be at the forefront of their mind on ensuring that everybody that attends this program is comfortable and they take a very good experience out of this place, so that next time they have the opportunity to visit this place again, they will be excited to come here because of the past experience they've had. But if their experience has been bad, that same experience, they'll communicate to other people and it will turn to bad business. Next slide. The evolution of FM, like I said earlier on, has moved away from the mundane understanding that we've had over the years. It has moved. FM has translated to a high trajectory, to a level at which our customers, people that we engage daily, wants to see how the workplace itself can influence their well-being, can influence their safety, can enable them to perform better, can bring out the best in them. You work in a place whereby you come to work, you cannot use the restroom, you have to take it home. Or you do what you need to do at home, you ensure you don't take too much water, you don't eat too much food because you don't want to use the restroom. That in itself has a psychological effect on your performance. It influences the way you discharge your duties at work. FM has moved from the normal, if it doesn't break down, you don't fix it. FM is now strategic. Because whether you like it or not, the building itself is like a human being. You have to take care of it, whether you like it or not. You must clean. You must prepare for corrective maintenance, because those assets, they cannot work for life. As an engineer, there is something called corollary of thermodynamics, third corollary of thermodynamics, that a machine cannot work perpetually. A machine cannot work for life. It has a lifespan that you need to fix it. So as an FM, you need to project, you need to plan for that period that equipment is going to fail. But you have to manage and maintain that equipment to that level at which when it fails at the time it's supposed to fail, not failing before that time, because it's going to cost you more. So FM itself affects your bottom line, your budget, your revenue, it affects your cash flow. It affects everything about you. So why do we pay lip service to facilities management? Why do we just call any Tom, Dick, and Harry to manage our assets? Something that is going to affect our business, something that is going to affect our corporate image. We just call any Tom, Dick, and Harry outside. And personally, it vexes me when I see rich men, business tycoon, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a particular property and they just decide to call anybody because they feel that, what are these facilities managers doing? Is it not to service generator? Is it not to change oil? Is it not to service the lift? You are wrong. And it is because we have not really created that right identity about the efficacy of FM. So I'm bringing to us to have a different perception about what facilities management is all about. Why is it that we do that to our buildings, but we don't do that to our cars? We don't even do that to our phones. We take care of our phones, we take care of our vehicle very well. We don't just call Adamu, Kasali, Musa to change the oil of our vehicle. We don't just go to the filling station and buy any type of oil. But why do we do that to our buildings? Because we feel that these professionals are just there to chop our money. So I want you to have a different perception of what FM is all about. At the University of Lagos, I usually tell my students that if you are here for this master's program just for the certificate, you are cheating yourself and you are also cheating the industry at large, because you carry that perception into the industry and you not perform. And people make jest of us that we are not teaching you well, and also have that perception that FMs are not doing anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, facilities management is much more than the way you think about it. It is a business, it is a profession, And it is a profession that affects every living soul as long as you are staying under a roof. Next slide. In terms of technology, the simple definition of technology is an enabler. Technology is an enabler. Before, we may not have a mic that is as versatile as the one we are using. It will have been making so much noise. I will have been changing my position here and there. They will have come to meet me to change the batteries several times. But things are improving. Communication, tools, a lot of visibility has now come into the built environment. Without data in itself, we will not be able to take any decision. I know we are all estate surveyors. We deal with a lot of data. We do valuation and stuff like that. And if you have all those data available and you are not making any decision from it, it's just waste of resources, waste of time. Technology is available to enable us to move from point A to point B with ease, and also to give us opportunity to take the right decision, the smartest decision. We are in year 2023, and the Paris Agreement in terms of sustainability, the Sustainable Development Goals, is also linked to technology. How do we use technology to achieve Sustainable Development Goals? It's easy. And if we do not take technology as an enabler, as a fundamental tool to manage the built environment, then it means that we are trying to go back to the Stone Age, because we are not fit for the 21st century. There are a lot of tools, artificial intelligence, the computerized maintenance management system, the energy management system, the building modeling information, building information modeling, building maintenance system, building management system, building automation system, a whole lot of tools. So for property manager, for real estate professionals, for surveyors, for valuers, there are tools that you can help use to engage your landlords, your tenants, your residents, people that you manage your property. Because at the end of the day, what you do is you sell data, you sell information. That is what you do. And how you sell that information distinguishes you, gives you that competitive advantage over your competitors. So integrating technology into your operation is no more luxury. It's no more something that you need to raise your shoulder about because you just need to have technology. It's a tool that will help you perform better. It's a tool that will enable you to see how your building is performing. I'll give an example of one of the technologies to save time. CMMS and CAFM, computerized maintenance management solution and computer-aided facility management software, helps you to identify your key assets, how your assets are performing. Now, the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer, has designed, fabricated, and produced a certain asset for you to use. Take, for example, your generator. Your generator, the OEM says your generator has a lifespan of 10 years. The first 2,000 hours, you need to do an overhaul. The first 10,000 hours, you need to do top-bottom overhaul, according to the OEMs. But most times, you don't even check the manuals. Once you get the generator, we just contract it out. We don't check the manuals to even see what we need to do at some certain times. No planned preventive maintenance plan. As I said earlier on, we just give it out because we feel that it's not important. And when we start seeing the bills, we start complaining that the FMs are just chopping the money. But it's you that you are not listening to the facility managers. You are not listening to them. It is not your core. Give it out to the FMs. That is their core. You can't know everything. You can't. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession, and it does not make me a facility manager. It doesn't. It is not automatic. So I had to go back to learn and learn the ropes to be a professional facility manager. The CMMS enables you to know how each of your assets are performing so that you can make informed decisions. Now, you mirror it to what the OEM says. If your asset is not performing according to the OEM's advice, you'll be able to take a decision on time before you have to replace that asset. Replacing the asset is going to cost you more than maintaining it as a when due. Using the right lubricant, using the right spare parts like the oil filter, the fuel filter, the air filter, and maintaining it at the right number of hours. Is it 200 hours? Is it 250 hours? And documenting all those things. Documenting the performance of your generator. There are tools you can install on your generators that remotely you can see everything on the dashboard. It's remote monitoring. You can see the water level, you can see the temperature of your generator, you can see the charge on the battery, you can see a whole lot of things that are on the dashboard. You can even remotely shut it down and put it on. And that gives you that freedom. That saves you cost of human capacity, saves you cost of security sometimes, and helps you to be versatile and move from point A to point B without much hassle. So technology is no more luxury, and most of all these tools, they are not expensive. They are not. Some of them are even free online that you can even do some form of tests, maybe a week, 2 weeks, or a month test to see how you can utilize it into your business and be able to take a decision. Now, in terms of employee well-being, I happen to run an FM business, and the idea that I had was that we are all going to be working from home. That was about 6 years ago. A lot of people thought I was crazy. And I can tell you for the past 6 years, we all work from home. And it's simple. We have our job description, we have our KPIs, we have our performance index that we need to meet, and we meet them as a when due. We serve the client. Most of the time, we are always at the client's site to serve them. The clients don't need to come to our office. So, and the people, the Gen Z, the millennials that work with us these days, they want freedom, they want flexibility. So if you are still using your traditional method, you must clock in. And you carry your glasses, you start monitoring people that didn't come to work on time, you start cutting their salary, you lose them. You need to have skills to be able to retain talent. Things have changed. The world has moved. The world has moved, and you have to reposition yourself, clear a lot of old thoughts that are not working anymore. The most important thing is that you have an engaged team. You look after their well-being. You give them that freedom. You give them the opportunity to express themselves. So for people that stays in Lagos, most of your people, they cannot afford to stay in Lekki where your office is, or in Ikoyi where your office is. So they come from Ikorodu, they come from Abule Egba, they come from Yanopaja. And you still want them to resume work at 8 o'clock, and you still want them to perform at the peak. It's almost impossible. So why don't you just break it, let them do hybrid, come in twice in a week or 3 times in a week. PwC has been doing this thing for a very long years. A lot of international organizations, they've been doing, they stagger their movement. They stagger their coming to work. They stagger their time at work. They have an agreed number of hours they need to perform at work, and it has really helped their productivity in all sense of it. So we have to change. We have to, move from the old thoughts of, engaging people, else we'll lose the right talent, and it will affect our business. By the time our clients are seeing that it was Nonso that was managing my facility 2 months ago, you have changed it to Shegun, and the next 6 months you have changed it to Kende, they will say that what's happening? You are changing your staff. Your staffs are not staying, they are not working with you. Then something must not be, you must be doing something that is not right. And the kind of youths that we have today, they want to be expressive. They want to do a whole lot of things themselves. They don't just want to stick to 9 to 5 because they have a future to build, they have a future to develop. Next slide. In conclusion, one of the takeaways I hope that we all have here today is the evolution of facilities management. Facilities management is about you and I. It's about our well-being. It's about creating an environment that is beautiful, an environment that we can resonate with, an environment we can, express ourselves, an environment that we can sit and, brings about the best in us. Even in terms of the coolness, the indoor air quality of your building, of your office, the environment. You understand? You have a beautiful place. You've paved everything with interlock. No green area. And the way God has fashioned the world, the earth, is that through photosynthesis, we get oxygen. And through breathing, through respiration, we give out the CO2 to the plants to live on. So there must be balance. We must balance the ecosystem. So FM is not just about the fixing things. It's also about sustainability. It's also about technology as an enabler. It's also about having that leadership and strategic skill set to be able to communicate and engage the people that you serve so that you can retain them. They can always come to you for as long as it takes, except you just want to do a one-off. They let you go, you do another business, they let you go and stuff like that. So FM is not just a buzzword. Do not just look for anyhow person to manage your monuments, to manage your asset that you have spent millions of naira on. Give it to professionals, engage them. That is the only way we can make the world better. And finally, for me, according to the United States Green Council, 40% of the world's fossil fuel is burnt in buildings. So if buildings are managed sustainably, it will reduce climate change, the depletion of the ozone layer, and a whole lot of effects on the environment. We need to start thinking about our future. We have issues with the built environment. We need to start thinking about solutions on how to reduce energy costs and how to reduce effect on the climate. We have to reduce how to manage water. There are shortages of water in the world in most African countries and some parts of Nigeria. The Lake Chad is almost dried, and that is what is causing some kind of insecurity because people don't have jobs, they don't have any other thing they do. So whatever is available for them in terms of terrorism and stuff, that's what they engage in. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Olumide. And thank you for listening to us. But I want to come home now. I'm a patient, I'm a doctor, as far as this is concerned. I'm talking to us now as surveyors. It was in 2000 when Jack Welch said, if the change outside exceeds the change inside, that means the end is near. A lot is happening and changing, but what I found out is that our profession is not, we can't react. If some of them were aware that there are changes happening, but we cannot react. And the question is, why are we not reacting? In 2021, there was a committee set up for ISO 41011. ISO 41011 is the ISO standard for facility management systems worldwide. And they needed to domesticate that standard in Nigeria. We are looking for people to collaborate with Nigerian Standard Organization, NSO, for that. So a mirror committee was set up. And I was there because of where I work. And I met a whole lot of people, architects, engineers, lawyers, inside that committee. As far as I'm concerned, I think there are just two of us. One of them is an estate surveyor, but he's not practicing, that are in that committee, domesticating that standard. That standard, as far as maybe in the next 2-3 years, it will be the ISO standard. Without that standard, you can't even work in oil and gas. You can't even work in telecommunications. As a matter of fact, private sector is out for you. The point I'm trying to make is that as estate surveyors, we need to start looking at our reaction to some of the changes that are happening in the profession, which we call our own. And I find out that one of the reasons why we can't react
is the issue of competence. Some of us are still doing FM as property management. If you come to FM with property management mindset, you will fail. As well as let me give you a simple difference between property management and FM. Property management is owner-oriented. FM is occupier-oriented. For instance, if you have an office that is not occupied, assume you are doing property management, you don't even care whether the man is occupied it or not. Once the rent expires, you ask him for more money. But an FM will be sure to make sure that the man makes that money so that he can pay his rent. That is the difference. So most of us in estate, what we do is that we become territorial. When we ask them, though it's part of property management. I've worked with a lot of people for that, but it's still taking time for people to transit from that mindset of property management to FM. And a whole lot is happening, like he said. I don't want to repeat what he has said, but most of what he has said is true. I have 18 slides which I prepared for this topic, but when I heard that it was only 30 minutes we are giving, I said, okay, let me shave mine so that he can talk, since he came all the way from Lagos. In due time, with the consent of my chairman here, maybe we'll organize a webinar series where some of these things will be discussed in full and people will understand it. Something like ISO 41011 is one FM process that if you are doing FM, you must understand it. And it's a very simple thing. We do it, but we don't know what we're doing. What he's saying is simply that you must define the context of the organization you want to serve. What is their strategic objective that you want to meet? And then what are the competencies that's required that you need to document to meet that? That is what he's saying. And FM today is being used as a tool for competitive advantage. A university can use it to increase their enrollment. Even churches use it now to increase their numbers. So FM has come to stay and is alive. And like I said earlier, we are more positioned as surveyors to take up that. We have the numbers, we have the real estate background, we have the economics background. All it requires is the passion, and there is money in it. So please let us begin to develop interest in this part of profession, and let us begin to exploit it and lead the way. If we go to IFMA today with our numbers, we dominate IFMA. If we go to IWFM with our numbers, we dominate it. There is Association of Fertility Management Practitioners of Nigeria. They started last year. I don't know how many state surveyors are there. There are some of them there, but we are going in silos. We need to take over these professions and dominate them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have listened quietly to the presentation and to the last speaker's comment. My name is Victor Alonge. By virtue of my position as the first vice, I coordinate the professional associations. You see, let me commend you for what you are doing, and let me also commend you for the paper that we just had. What I want us to understand is that until we as professional associations also take responsibility for what we have been given, we will continue to postulate without impact. What do I mean by that? You see, we have IFMA, truly. We have this professional association. That's the Facility and Infrastructure Management Professional Association. Our members are in IFMA. As a matter of fact, the current president of IFMA is an estate surveyor. But that is different. We are saying that, like you rightly said, our background, our training, positions us even better than an accountant who is in IFMA doing facilities management. But if we are saying that, then we must begin to have evidence of our competence in that field. And the first thing you have to do is to have manuals. That gives you
that the ownership, so that when there is dispute about whether you are qualified to do it or not, you come out with your manual. This is the document. Today, when you're talking of valuation, if anybody is challenging us, apart from, that's what we did at the board, apart from Ezrabon law, we have the valuation standards now. I was impressed the other day when somebody told me that the president of ICANN was the one that was defending our profession before the accountant general when they were talking about IPSAS valuation, and they were saying that, oh, accountant should do it, blah blah blah. They said the man brought out our valuation standard and said, look, these are the people that, if you are talking of fees, because the accountant general said, oh, then the fee to do it will be too much. He said you can negotiate with them. That is an evidence. Without that document, the man will not be able to, he wouldn't have been able to actually defend us. So what I'm saying in essence is, please, we need to start taking serious responsibilities. If you know that this is, we are competent here, if there are trainings that we need to do, let us, I mean, that's the professional association. And let me tell you, at the last council meeting, you know, we had a retreat for the professional associations, and your association was, you know, participated fully there. We had 2 days retreat because personally, I am very, very interested in making the professional association to be the first line of defense for our profession, and I have always advocated it. So when I became the coordinator, the first thing I did was to call a meeting of all the chairmen and secretaries and whatever. We identify our problems, and I said, okay, what we'll do is we will go for a retreat. A 2-day retreat was organized in Lagos, and the participation was very, very impressive. I know there are challenges for the professional associations, ranging from finance, membership, and, you know, clear mandates. You need some level of independence to be able to carry out your duties. So we identified all that, and that was clearly produced and reported to council. And I went to council to seek for their approval. And for the first time, all those requests have been granted. So professional association, that is the next thing we're going to do now. Professional associations now have like semi-autonomous status. You can now actually, you don't have to have recourse to National for your finance. You can actually have your own account, you know, run your association. And then membership. We identified that it is actually not ideal, that it is only when probationers become associates that we give them forms to indicate which professional association they want to actually join. We found out that that is not helping the associations. So what we have done now, what council has approved now, is that every probationer, before you come through the process to come and write critical analysis and so on, you must be a member of a professional association. And then your critical analysis, because one of the major reasons why we created all this professional association is for specialization, so that people can be, in terms of depth, you will be deep, but in terms of breadth, you will be short. That is what we need. We don't need jack of all trade, master of none. We need jack of one trade, master of it, depth. So we're now going to have professional association. You must now have student members, you will have graduate members, and then you also have qualified members. So your graduate members will go through the probation, as probationers. You know, they will go through the process and become qualified from your faculty. And when they arrive, and one of the things we also encourage, which you also have to take responsibility for, is when they are writing their critical analysis, you make sure that critical analysis reflects their faculty, their association membership. So the issue of you not having membership, you know, that you can actually say, look, these are your, because when I ask them, give me your membership register list, a lot of them could not. You know, those of them who had said, well, we think it's going to be this, but we are not sure, you know, which should not be the case. And if you look at the Constitution gives the association a lot of I don't want to say powers, but responsibilities. You understand the point? So all those things will now be implemented. But I want to challenge, in fact, I will just say that after this conference, when we start the next council year, we are going to roll out the implementation plan for what council has approved for professional association, so that you can now function properly. You are a mini professional body on your own, you know. So all these complaints, I think we need to start moving away from complaining to actually performing. Take responsibility for whatever. If there are issues, don't come because you are complaining, you're not complaining to anybody. Deal with it. You know, you are not going to be empowered to deal with it. Come up with what you think should be the solution, and then start the process of documenting your practice manual. You know, FM maybe for offices, this and this and this are what, you know, the procedure, the manual, the procedure, you know, so that people can also learn. The training is there, which a lot of us are doing, a lot of the professional associations are doing well about. So please, it is good for us to always, you know, to have this process of developing ourselves. But let us now go a step further, so that we have evidence that we are professionals, that we are competent to handle this. As I'm talking to facilities management professional association, it also affects valuation, it also affects plan and equipment, and so on. Because if you don't have those manuals, you can't go to court and say this should be, is your responsibility, you are qualified to do it. It's evidence. You understand the point? So let us understand that, and let's start working on that. By the time we start doing that, most of these issues will be addressed. And let me tell you, Rome was not built in a day. We will develop the manual, we will continue to update it. Even if it's not perfect, I don't expect it to be perfect from the first day. I don't expect the manual to capture everything from the first day. But let's start. Let's start and take steps to update it. So that is what I would advise. It's very, very important we do that as a body. Just don't look to us naives as at national to come and do that for you. No, we expect you to do it for naives. Come up with it, and then we will support you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can we give him a round of applause? You're welcome, sir. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all the information, and thank you for the guidelines. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, we were to take Niesv Dosu Fatokun yesterday, and he wasn't here, but today he's here, and he will be talking on stimulating the Nigerian economy through valuation for fixed assets management, FAM. I present to you Estate Surveyor and Valuer Dosu Fatokun, PPNIVS. Can we give him a round of applause? A past president. A round of applause. You are not clapping well for him, please. So are you giving them anything of that show? Are you giving them anything?
Yes.
They already have it.
Yes,
Okay.
right, tomorrow.
Okay. Yes, sir. They're staying here, sir.
Noble colleagues, the chairman of the board, Chief Enshaw, my vice, my noble colleagues, good afternoon. I greet you to appear that my paper is jinxed. Honestly, yesterday I was to be here, but something cropped up, and I did hint the chairman of conference, but maybe his hands were tied. I thank God that I'm here today. The IT man from our secretariat, you have a copy of the paper, Mr. Mumore. So let's go, let us summarize briefly what it's all about. The title of the paper is Stimulating the Nigerian Economy Through Valuation for Fixed Asset Management. Mr. Omoren? Okay, that's good. Let's briefly go through the abstract. In fact, I'm really happy that when our guest speaker was speaking in the hearing today, he was hammering on data. Without being conscious of it, our valuation report does generate a lot of data on fixed assets. In fact, our valuation report is an authority on data on fixed assets. And this makes us very relevant to the topic of today. Now, fixed asset management, what is it about? It's briefly about tracking, monitoring, and maintaining all assets, both movable and unmovable. Hitherto, we are used to immovable assets. When you talk of real estate facility management, you are talking about management of landed properties, which is largely immovable. But the gamut of fixed asset management is movable and immovable. And the IT for the past decade have been in charge. You know, a set of services have come up and which they are leading. And from our observation over the past 10 years, for the past 10 years, I discovered that we even have a role to play, even more than the IT people, because their technologies, because their services are based on IT-driven technologies. I'm sure when you hear of barcoding and tagging, when you hear of tracking, when you hear of a digital fixed asset register, that is technology. But technology does not operate in vacuum. It operates on the data. They barcode the data of assets, they digitalize the asset data. That's where we come in. So we have to generate data. But what I found in practice, if you look at page 12, go to page 12, please. Are you there? Is it here or where? Okay. Go backward. Okay, leave that. Go to the first page. The topic is stimulating Nigerian economy through valuation for fixed asset valuation, fixed asset management. Let's start from Nigerian economy. I'm sure you know that Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa by virtue of the GDP. That is as far as good report is concerned. All other aspects, honestly, we need all the stimulation we can get from anybody to stimulate our economy, because the GDP is the number 131st in the world, whereas our population is about the sixth, or we are the seventh largest country. So we really have a problem. And for the last few years now, our economy has been growing at less than 5%, and that is not enough to really stimulate the economy. That's the... Okay, go to the next page. Go to the next page. The next table. That's the introduction. Okay. This is the GDP as of 2022. You find that real estate contributes 5% of the total GDP, and the total GDP is about $480 billion. And valuation services are accounted for under the real estate. So if you really want to stimulate the economy, we must ensure that we contribute or increase that percentage substantially. As at now, when you talk of Human Development Index, we are far, far behind. We should not, you want to talk of mystery, human mystery, we are far, far behind. And there are critical shortages of any infrastructure you can think of. Is it electricity? About 3,000 to about 6,000 megawatts, compared with South Africa, with population of about 40 million people, almost about I think 58 megawatts. So we are really behind. Which infrastructure can you point out to that we don't have shortages? Is it roads? Is it education? Is it health? So we are in shortage of virtually all social services. So if we must stimulate our economy, all hands should be on deck, including us. They say charity begins at home. What can we do? The last, is it John Kennedy? He said, don't think what you can gain from your country, but what you can do for a country. So we need to increase our productivity qualitatively and quantitatively with a view to contribute to the GDP. That's how we can stimulate Nigerian economy. And experts believe that any GDP growth less than double digit, like 10%, we are still playing. We are still playing. So starting from what we know, real estate. Go to the next section. Next section. Honestly, if we concentrate on developing and revamping real estate, we can really go can really go far, because think about multiplier effect. In the housing sector alone, they report that annually and nationwide, about 10 million housing units is in deficit. Even if we concentrate on that, honestly, employment will be created, more jobs, and more prosperity. And one point I want to know is that about the situation about the land area of Nigeria. Professor Mabogunje, of the blessed memory, I think the foremost geographer and planner, once remarked in one of his books that only about 10% of the land area of Nigeria is properly demarcated, surveyed, and titled. And the implication is that over 90% of our land area, as big as we are, is a dead capital. You cannot use this to raise loan in the bank because the title is not registrable and other things. So if we start on our land area itself, I think we can go far. So the next regime, the current regime, we will urge it to do something by way of encouraging massive title registration, demarcation. You know, under the land use decree, the state government owns the land on our behalf, and they allocate lands. So we need land for agriculture, housing, all sorts of facilities. We need them. So we start from that. We start from that angle, and we believe that real estate can really contribute. Of course, if our services are deepened, like we talk about valuation, because in fact that's the subject of the paper. Go to the next section. So we've really concentrated on the corporate Nigeria, corporate world. When you talk of corporate world, we are talking of limited liability companies quoted on the foreign stock exchange. We are talking of governments, federal, state, and local governments. And when I think this is a challenge to our academicians, the bulk of the sources of demand for valuation services in this country come from this corporate section. The governments, the banks, they are limited liability companies. They come from them. So even if we concentrate on that, that is even enough. And the trend, which is the focus of this paper, the trend is that in recent years, valuation services are being packaged with some IT services, which are aforementioned, like we want you to value, then we want you to barcode. And if you go to, please go to page 12. I think it's page 12. Go to page 12. Or page 6. Page 6. Go further. Go further. Go further. Go further. Go further. You are going backward now. Go. In any case, I've been tracking for the past 10 years. Advertisements, go further, go to page 6. Over the 10 years period, at least up to about 15 government agencies have been advertising for valuation services with IT services like barcoding, digital asset register, life cycle management. Of course, they would prefer that a single firm, because it's economical to them, undertake such an assignment. And we have been lucky to have participated in some of them, not all. And I believe, in fact, that was actually convinced me that we have a role to play. What they do is getting the data of assets. Get the data of the concrete of the fixed assets and ensure that their technology captures them appropriately. Now, what are we saying? More than any professional, the estate surveyors is better trained, educated to inspect all fixed assets. And this is what we do almost every day. If you take, let's take an engineer, for example. An engineer for plant and machinery, what's wrong? We install, and you have a manufacturer's manual. But if you look at the data, very up to date at the time of installation. But over time, it is the estate surveyor's job to capture what time has happened to that plant and machinery in terms of usage, in terms of depreciation, in terms of obsolescence. Your report will capture all that. So we are more current than any profession. And talk of the accountant, it is true. They specify the classification of assets for balance sheet purposes, but they are not obligated to provide structure report on assets. So it is the job of the assets. They say, okay, go for the. I don't want to show you a table. Go back, go. There is a table there. You want to see possible range of data that you can generate. That's the place. That's the data. You see our methodologies, we use investment approach, we use cost approach. Oh, this is the data, please, yes. Okay, there are two columns there. You have land and buildings, then you have plant and machinery. When you apply either the investment method or cost approach, you are bound to generate a number of data. If it is cost approach, contractors approach, you are bound to generate a number of data. So if you look at land and buildings, first of all, you want to identify locations. You want to, what is this? Okay, brief identity or description, user's identity, date of construction or acquisition, accommodation floor or floor space, construction details, income, rent receivable, historical cost, investment yields, condition, current values, depreciation, maintenance profile, unexpected life cycle, that's land and building. The same, we have a set of data for plant and machinery. This is what we normally generate by any normal valuation. What we are trying to say is that these are the data they make use of when they want to barcode, when they want to construct digital fixed assets. Of course, when we talk of register, you know what register means. take a particular fixed asset. All these variables, you take them. This is what is fixed asset all about. This is what can I say? But in generating this data, the major difference is that they are in liberty to specify how you want to present this data. For example, take the case of location. In one assignment we were involved, they directed that it's not just descriptive description of the location, what is it and that. They want to know the distance of that place, of that establishment to a major telecom mast, because those things do affect them. So they have a way that they can specify mast, telecom mast, and other infrastructures. These are things we can grow with. So, but the basic data, and if we want the data to be more than this, we can do that. For example, take a real estate piece. Often, real estate development is altered over the years, and that's what we call as-built description. There have been alterations over the years. When the architect made his drawings and his specifications, you find that he still has in mind the original description, but over the years it has been altered. It is the valuation of the estate surveyor that will capture that variable as it is. So this is where we are better than any other professional. We have that advantage. In fact, I sat and I argued in that area that within built environment, is it town planning, is it QS, is it architect, we generate better and more reliable and up-to-date data than any professionals. So what we are arguing here is that we have a role to play in establishing these IT-driven management services services. And so let's go to conclusion. So that let's go to conclusion. I believe you are following me. Thank you very much. Please, I don't know the arrangement they have. This is just a surface presentation. When you go through the report, through the paper, you know that you will be convinced. Go back. No. Okay. Apart from stimulating this paper, because in the process, one thing I must confess is that I want to congratulate our institution. You cannot just come here when we are president. When you even get 2 or 3 people to present, you'll be happy. But today, there are more people who are prepared to present papers here, and there are reviewers. My paper was sent to a reviewer. I corrected it, and I've sent the corrected version. But this is the one before, so I'm surprised. So let me congratulate the institution and the president for this good step to ensure that the standard is quite high. So let me, the reviewer asked me to take out these statistics. I went to the board. What is the growth rate of our products? That's the essence of yours. That's the product you are seeing there. In 2016, 420 were registered. Down to 2023, we have 2,576. So over that period, the average growth is about 25% we are grown at 25%. Apart from stimulating economy, we need to provide, we need to explore new frontiers for our members to practice, because our skills must be used and must be relevant. So that's just the purpose of that statistics. But my reviewer said that it's not necessary. So let's conclude. Where is the, go back, go forward. The beginning of this section. In any way, what I'm trying to say is that we know in professional valuation, purpose determines basis and purpose determines basis and methods. You agree with me? Do you agree with me? Now, if you really want to show competency in this valuation for FAB, number one, let us treat as a purpose. You know, IPSAS has now entered our vocabulary, and how to get to that, determine that value. We know how to get the value. Let's treat fixed asset management services as a purpose of valuation. Then we begin to build capacity, because the presentation of the data could be different, the format could be different, and there are other things which you will find in the paper which you do, but the institution should take the initiative. Thank you very much.
Can give Honorable Estate Surveyor Valuer Dosu Fatokon another round of applause. Okay, one or two questions for him. Do we have questions? Anybody? Okay, we don't have any questions. So we'll be wrapping up for today. By the special grace of God, later this evening, there'll be a presidential cocktail at the Whitefield Hotels. I know those that are involved will be there by 6:30 p.m. Tomorrow, by the special grace of God, by 6:30, there'll be a golf tournament at the golf club in Ilorin. Then we'll have a charity walk. We'll be taking off from the banquet hall here on a Jumat service. Tomorrow is Friday. There'll be a Jumat service at the Sharia Court Mosque in Ilorin. We will also be converging at 2:30 p.m. for the student quiz grand finale. I think that will be happening here at the banquet hall. And of course, there'll be sports finals for squash, table tennis, chess, football, and other sporting activities at the stadium complex at Taiwo Road in Ilorin. Then, of course, there'll be the Board of Fellows dinner at Whitefield Hotel tomorrow. So Saturday, by the special grace of God, we'll be having aerobics in the morning, as usual, at Whitefield Hotel, Rotana Hotels, all the hotels where you guys are. And there'll be an annual general meeting at the banquet hall here in Ilorin by 10 a.m. and by 7 p.m. we should be here, we should be gathered here for the gala night and the dinner and awards raffle night program. So ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you to you all for coming. We'll be seeing you by the special grace of God tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. at the golf tournament. It's not far from here actually, so I think the drivers or whoever, the people that are in charge will take us there. So I want to wish you the best of the evening. Thank you all for coming. Is the DJ there? If he's not there, then we'll call it today. Thank you. God bless you. My name is Ayobola Ikolaye. Thank you.